it's Dorothy Guinan with Scrapbooking Quebec. In this video, I'm participating in Janet Fritz's monthly YouTube collaboration, Stretch the Sketch. In this series, we start with a 12 by 12 sketch and then we alter it. We either shrink it or we stretch it. And my plan is to stretch August sketch into this double page 6 photo spread. I'm going to be keeping things simple using a go-to approach or a go-to concept I often use when creating double page spreads, and I want to do it quickly. Actually, I spoke about this approach at length in another video, so I will link up that video below in case you're interested. And here's the sketch I'll be using. It's the June 13 template for Sahlin Studio. And when you're finished here, you can find a bunch of other links below, so you can check out what all the others are doing with this month's sketch as well. I plan to stretch the layered photo mat, those are the strips of paper that you see on the sketch, across the 2 pages, then place my photos across this layered mat. I'm going to bring everything together at the end by strategically placing my embellishment clusters, which will also include my title and journaling. Essentially, that's it. My simple double page approach broken down into 3 easy steps. So let's get going and I will talk you through this process. So you're about to see what's on my desk, and I did a bit of preparation in advance. I prepared this frame style foundation across 2 pages with 6 sheets of paper. I did gut 4 of them, and there is a tutorial on my channel where I explain how to do that. The tutorial is for a single page layout. However, the technique is the same. The only difference is the white paper on top of this foundation page meets in the middle. That way I can create kind of a 24 by 12 canvas. I'm also showing you 6 photos that I matted in advance with black cardstock. It's actually the black cardstock that came from behind my foundation page. And now I'm about to show you the material I'm going to be using. Now most of it comes from the Maggie Holmes round trip collection. I did throw in some white and black cardstock, and I also threw in some embellishments from an older Maggie Holmes collection, and you'll see that a bit later on towards the end of the video. So here are the papers from that collection that I've selected, and in a moment I'm going to show you a plastic tray that is full of embellishments. And again, mostly from the round trip collection, but I do have other stuff in there as well. You're going to see alphas there, along with those Viewmaster cutouts, those black Viewmaster round wheels you see. Those were a gift from Ronnie Sue Scrapper, a friend of mine on YouTube. And here's that little postcard book. That is from the round trip collection. I think it's a new product. I've never seen it before, and I'm really excited about it. It's a book of a bunch of postcards, double-sided. I think it's going to be really fun to layer with them. What I'm going to do right now is cut off a bunch of strips of paper. So you can see the sketch. It's in the top left corner of the screen, and there are a bunch of strips of paper there. So that's what I'm cutting up in 3 different papers, and I'm cutting each strip times 2 because my plan is to take that photo mat, which is made of strips of paper, and basically span it across the 2 pages. So again, like I mentioned, basically all of them I'm cutting times 2, except this map paper here. I make 1 wider border with that. That's going to go on the left-hand page. You don't see it on the sketch, and I'll talk about why I'm doing that a little bit later on. Before I place these pieces on the page, I am applying a bit of ink, and the color I'm using is Morning Mist by VersaFine Clair, and I often use this ink when I create layered photo mats or photo mats with a lot of strips of paper like what I'm doing here. I just find when I create this type of photo mat with lots of different pattern papers, it helps the papers look cohesive. It makes them look nicer, like they go together. So you can see I have all of these different strips of paper, 2 of each except for that wide border in that map print. Now I'm going to place this on the page and give you an idea where I'm going with this. This is basically the first of 3 steps for my easy approach to creating a double page spread. What I'm doing here is creating a layered photo mat that's identical on both pages. So all of these strips are identical in size, color, and motif. Now what I'm doing is I'm starting them at the middle, so it's almost like a mirror image, but they are all identical. Now I find this a really easy way to create a double page spread. It just kind of flows across the two pages, and the reason why I do them identical in size, it just makes decision making easier, and the layout always seems to turn out. So you can see I also cut out 2 narrow strips of paper in that map paper. You're going to see me play around with those quite a bit, but I don't end up incorporating them into the layout. So the measurements for those narrow strips aren't there. And you can see what I'm doing with that wider border of paper. It's on the left-hand page, and it is housing a row of horizontal photos. So basically where we're landed at now is step 2 in my easy approach to creating a double page spread. Once I have my identical foundation pages in place, then what I do is place my photos on top of this layered photo mat. And this can be anything really. I am using the photos I have 3 vertical, 3 horizontal, and I'm more or less following the sketch for the right-hand page, but on the left-hand page, that's where I'm going to put that border of horizontal photos. What I want to say here is, this is what I'm doing, but using this approach, the idea, once you have your layered photo mat down, you can put whatever you want on top of it for photos. You may have more photos, less photos, bigger photos, smaller photos. It doesn't really matter. It's very, very flexible, and for that reason, everything always looks different when you're finished, even if you're using the same approach. Now back to this layout, you notice I am adhering the pieces to the foundation page, and I started by adhering the strip at the top of the page, then I did the strip at the bottom of the page, and now I'm kind of filling in the middle. The reason why I started at the top, then went straight to the bottom, is because I wanted the margin at the top of the page to be equal to the margin at the bottom. And that was just easier for me, so then I just filled in the middle afterwards. Now I'm adhering that border on the left-hand side because I know it's going to go there. And now what I'm going to do is continue doing the same thing on the right-hand page. And basically, to line it up, I just bumped up the 2 pages together. I used the adhered pieces on the left as a guide to place the strips of paper on the right. And I continued doing that off camera. So you can see step 1 is done. My layered photo mat is down, identical on both pages. Now what I'm doing is step 2, placing my photos here. So you can see on the right-hand page, I'm more or less following the sketch minus 1 photo. And on the left, I'm kind of doing my thing here. You can see I come in once again with those narrow strips of paper trying to make them work, but they don't at this point, and I don't at all add them even at the very end. Now I'm showing you I have all of my embellishing around me. So I have the ephemera pieces there, those die cut pieces from Ronnie. I'm showing you I have my title on wax paper. Once again, I'm showing you this postcard book that I absolutely love, and I selected 2 of them kind of in the colors that I'm using for this layout. I have a sticker sheet that is from the Round Trip collection, and this chipboard sheet is from another Maggie Holmes collection. It's from Market Square, but a lot of the colors and images coordinate with this collection, so it's a fun way to use it up. So now what I'm going to do is the 3rd step in this easy approach to creating a double page spread. Basically, I'm going to embellish, but I'm going to strategically place my embellishments to bring this entire layout together. Now, the way I'm going to be doing it is creating 3 embellishment clusters that will incorporate my journaling and title. I'm going to place them so that they form a visual triangle across the 2 pages, and that just kind of guides the eye and kind of brings everything together. Now I'm doing it in a visual triangle with 3 embellishment clusters, but you could also use this approach and create 2 embellishment clusters and create a diagonal design. For example, I often do it where I create an embellishment cluster in the top left and in the bottom right. Both ways to embellish work. Both of them help bring the page together. Now back to this one. You can see I am building my embellishment clusters, and I started as I always do, by adding the largest pieces. So I did that on the left by layering up 2 of those postcards. I also tucked in that Viewmaster wheel. What I did was I made a repetition of that on the right page by once again adding another Viewmaster wheel, and I tucked in 2 pieces of ephemera. They aren't postcards, but they are in similar colors. Then I came in with smaller pieces, those flowers, so I have pink and yellow flowers in both of them. And in that case, they are chipboard pieces, stickers, and ephemera pieces. Once all that was in place, I came in with something smaller, those little die cut cameras. And for the third cluster, it's just a small one. When I create clusters, I do like to have them in different visual weights. So in this case, the one on the left is the biggest. The one on the bottom right is kind of the middle cluster. And the one up by the title, I end up just adding a few little stickers in with the title, and that's it. It's just like a hint of an embellishment cluster, a repetition of the colors that are found in the other 2 embellishment clusters. So you can see I've moved on to adhering these pieces. I am going to have to add some finishing touches, but at this point, none of my photos were adhered. I had a bunch of loose pieces on my desk. I had some stickers on wax paper, and with all of that, it was hard for me to see past all of that. So in order to add finishing touches, I just had to adhere everything down to the page. So you can see I already did that on the left-hand side. Now I'm doing the photos on the right-hand side. Then I will come in and continue with the embellishment cluster. So I'm starting with the biggest piece, that Viewmaster wheel. Then I'm coming in with a few pieces of ephemera, tucking it on the right side of the photo. Then I'm coming in with those floral pieces, and that is it. Oh, I forgot, I added that camera as well. Now I'm going to work on the title. Now I want the title to end at the far right of that blue paper, so I'm going to start there and then continue adhering towards the left. I don't make you watch all of it, but you can see I have a sticker underneath the word on there as well, and that creates a visual triangle with the other 2 yellow flowers in the other 2 clusters. Now I'm coming in hoping to add some finishing touches. So I have some of these epoxy shapes. I have these pale blue stars. I have some geotags, and I end up putting the geotags in a few spots, and I also end up putting stars a little bit all over the place. In a minute, you're going to see me come in with it's like a stamp, and I put it on one of the postcards, then I remove it. So I'm doing a lot of adding little pieces and removing them, which is what I often do at the very end of the layout. But basically, you can see I'm finished here. And off camera, I added my journaling, and I ended up making a mistake. I had put this little notebook piece up on top of those postcards. I made a mistake, so I ended up removing that notebook piece, and I did my journaling directly on the postcard instead. I had to remove some of those blue star epoxy stickers. I had stuck them all over the place, and I didn't like that. And I ended up making peace with just having one geotag that I ended up placing just in the bottom right on top of that camera. Finally, I ended up putting stamps on the postcards. After all, I had kind of put them on and then took them off. And anyway, they ended up being on 2 of the postcards. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I'd greatly appreciate a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would be thrilled if you did. And if you are a subscriber, thank you very, very much. Don't forget to check out the other participants. Their links are listed below. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you soon on YouTube. Bye-bye.